What's up, Niner Faithful? Johnny Dell back again with another episode of 49ers Playbook. This episode, we're going to continue looking at the defensive performance in Cincinnati, how we completely stifled the Bengals in the game and held them to only 10 points when the starters were in. So we're going to continue looking here again, but we're going to look at the passing game this time. How did our starters keep a guy who threw for over 400 yards against Seattle to just about 160 or so versus our starters? Well, let's take a look. This is the very first play of the game. What Cincinnati is going to try and do is they're going to try and run play action to get a shot down the field. What they're going to do is they're going to pull a guard across to make it help sell the run. And when this happens, this is DJ Jones over here. He's going to hit this guy, or the center's going to take him on. He's going to hit him, and he's going to follow the puller. Again, how we talked about with Blair following the puller. He's going to follow the puller, and he's going to realize real quickly. So at the snap here, we're going to see there goes the puller. There goes DJ Jones with him. He's following the puller. See him go after the puller. He's trying to help keep someone else from getting blocked. So in this, they have the tight end because he's running a route, is going to go up the field. They're hoping to get the guard over and kick out D Ford here on a block. See, as you can see that he's trying to set up in pass protection. This is a play that Jim Harbaugh used to run all the time. Here, DeForest Buckner sniffs out a double team, so he's going to kind of hold up here, try and take on the double team. But right here, this is where DJ Jones realizes the running back does not have the ball. And because he worked so hard to get across the face of the center and he's using a long arm technique, he's just going to throw him to the side right there and release him. Watch Buckner as he realizes here that it's not a that's not a run. He's going to bench press his guy off of him, use his long arms and his length to separate, dip and rip. So this is that power he has. What he's going to do is he's going to pull down and back and get this guy off him. There he goes. He can't move, gets tied up with the other guy. You can see him pulling down. And now he's got a free run at Dalton. On the other side, Armstead's going to take on the left tackle. He's going to get into his chest. He's going to press him up. He's one with leverage, and now he's going to dip and rip. He's going to get his arm under. There it goes. He's hooked him, and he's going to drive through. What this does is this makes Andy Dalton abort the play almost immediately. Watch this in real time. As he turns around, he's seeing Buckner coming at him, and he has to take off. We get a sack. That's a good play by 3 different guys on the defensive line. That's looking good. That's a good way to start the game. We very rarely have started the game like that. So then here I'll run this next play. Somebody commented it would be nice to see the plays before we talk about them and break stuff down. So we'll let this play out. You'll get to see what happened. This was the 3rd down stop. What I like here is that this is why you go out and get the edge rushers you can, because in 3rd and longs now we can play a very soft defense. They don't have to bite on any of this underneath stuff, and you force the quarterback to throw the ball before any of these deep routes can develop, and then you just rally to the ball and make a tackle. It looks really good from this angle, but watch why Andy Dalton has to get rid of the ball so quickly, because you'd say, well, why would he throw it that short? Well, let's look from this angle. What you're going to see is his offensive line getting pushed right into his lap. From the snap, you're going to see here DeForest Buckner is going to take this guard and put him on skates. And he's just going to drive him right back into Andy Dalton, and D Ford's going to do the same thing. Remember, John Lynch talked about the biggest thing they wanted to see from an edge rusher was the ability to turn speed into power. And this is the definition of that, turning speed into power and driving a tackle back. This is about compressing the pocket and forcing a quarterback now, as he's feeling this getting really claustrophobic, he's got to get rid of the ball because he knows the pass rush is coming. So again, by the time he gets rid of this ball, let's look at it from the all-22 angle. Right here, he's in his windup. This receiver hasn't even had a chance to break deep. Neither is this one. The only route that's developed is one that is 12 yards short of a 1st down. That's good. There you go. That's where you get off the field. That's what having good edge rushers can do. Here's a similar play. We had stopped him on the run. Then Cincinnati had a few penalties. They're in a 3rd and 24. You should be able to get off the field in 3rd and 24. But you know what? Sometimes last year we couldn't do that. That just was not possible for us. So again, because you have good edge rushers, they don't want Andy Dalton holding the ball for very long. And then when we struggled with tackling, all they're going to do here is they're going to run all these guys down. They're just trying to block. This is like an extended handoff. They're going to bring their receiver across, throw him the ball. He's got 3 blockers, and they're going to try and see if something can happen. But guess what? We have better tacklers this year. We got a little bit more speed on defense this year. So you know what? We're able to rally to the ball, make the tackle, get off the field. That's good defense. So then here we have what they're going to try and do on this play was they're going to try and get a screen pass to their running back. Let's just let this run again. I'm getting a little too excited in here because I love this play by D Ford. You know, from the end zone, if you see this, you'll look at it and say, man, Julian Taylor really made a good play on this. But I actually want to point out a different player, because what happens is Andy Dalton has to throw this ball before this play is set up. This is a little bit of a long developing screen. You're going to fake a run. You're going to bring this running back over. Then he's got to kind of sit. And the way they're taught is usually 2 or 3 seconds. They'll go 1, 2, and then turn and look for the ball. And so they're going to wait and do that. Let's actually watch this and time this out. He's going to go 1, 2, and then he takes off. See, so that's what his internal clock is saying. That's how they're coached on this to keep the timing up. So as he's doing this, he's going 1, 2, and he turns, but the ball is already thrown, and as it hits him in the arm as he's turning. Why did Andy Dalton throw that ball so early? Well, let's go back to the all-22 and watch D Ford as he comes around on this tackle. This tackle is not going out to block. He is supposed to be in pass protection. But watch D Ford beat him around the edge and start turning the edge. And what Dalton sees is he's going to see D Ford coming around the edge right here. He's about to get smacked. He sees that, so he's got to get rid of the ball. And so he just dumps it off. It hits his running back in the arm, while Julian Taylor looks like a stud. This was really D Ford. D Ford, as he's dipping and ripping through, and Andy Dalton seeing him coming right at him, he gets rid of the ball, and it's a busted play. Again, great work. That's some heavy investment on the D-line starting to pay off. Now this play, we'll run this one too. And this was the play where Andy Dalton got called for an illegal pass downfield. Again, this is set up by the pass rush. What we're going to do here is we're going to run a stunt here. We're going to put 3 guys on one side, Nick Bosa alone on the other. This is Armstead. Armstead's going to loop all the way around and try and occupy the center and the guard to allow Nick Bosa to come up the middle. And it's actually going to work, but Nick Bosa gets held. So here you see, one, he does a good job selling his rush, so that makes the guard think that he's not looping around. While here Armstead's coming in and he's splitting the guard in the center, again, trying to attract both of these guys. He's not trying to win a pass rush here. He's trying to occupy the guard and the center, because Bosa hits the tackle, bench presses him up, and then here he comes slipping inside. Now here, that tackle has his left shoulder, grabbed. You can really see it here. You can see how the pad is pulled up. He's trying to reach out, and Andy Dalton's able to go by. That is a hold if I have ever seen one in my life. That should be 10 yards right there. That should be a sack for Nick Bosa. Come on, let's get Nick Bosa a sack. Anyways, because of this pressure that's coming, and then again, let's look at D4 transition, speed to power. He's going to go speed rush, and remember, the play before this, he beat this tackle with the speed rush. Again, sometimes it's good to understand these plays in succession so you can understand how it goes. He's beat him with speed. Now he comes with power, turns speed into power, and puts him on skates. That's what forces Dalton to step up. He can't let any routes develop, and he's forced to take off. By the time he resets himself, it's too late, and he gets a penalty, loss of down. Because if you look at this play, if he had had time to sit in the pocket, they have a receiver open, probably wouldn't have been a first down, but guess what? It would have set up a much easier field goal. Same here. They end up missing a 52-yard field goal because of this. This is where your pass rush, again, we've talked about it, that your pass rush covers a lot of woes. This is the stuff it does. It makes quarterbacks do stupid things. He never sees this guy sitting out here wide open for an easy completion that would have set up an easy field goal. Instead, he panics, he overthrows this guy, penalty. Great to see. Now we're going to go on, keep moving on. This is when Ronald Blair gets a sack. Way to go, Ronald. Here he's just going to beat this guy around and sack Andy Dalton. What happens here? Well, you know how we talked about last week, and if teams are trying to run a play action away from a defensive end, what that to sell that, the tackle has to take a step to his left. That's going to do the same thing here, just like last week we saw D Ford on a tight end in pass protection. We're going to have Ronald Blair on a tight end in pass protection, and guess what? That's a win for the defense. This is not George Kittle out here, who's a phenomenal blocker, and he's going to make Cincinnati pay. As they run the play action, Ronald, you see the tackle has to step over. That's going to cause a double team here and a double team here. And that leaves Ronald Blair one-on-one with the tight end, and he's just going to manhandle this guy. He's going to bench press him off of him. He's going to grab, dip, and rip and go get the quarterback. Way to go. Way to go, Ronald. Watch this play in real time, dip and rip, and there he goes. Andy Dalton has nothing. The back end held up just long enough for this to not be a completion. See, all they got to do is cover for 3 seconds. Here they did a great job. One thing here, Fred Warner does a really good job on this. In our defense, when you have deep crossers, is just a side point. Your backside linebacker, the linebacker away from the deep crosser, has to match that deep crosser. That's a lot to ask. Bobby Wagner is one of the best in the game at doing it. And just watch Fred Warner on this play track this deep over. That's where Dalton wants to go. He wants to go to the deep over. It's not there when he turns around because Fred Warner's taking it away, and he has no time because Ronald Blair got the sack. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. Like, subscribe, set your notifications on when the next video will be showing up. We're going to continue our look at the defense. That'll probably be arriving either late Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. We will see how much time I have because I'm going to go spend some time with my family. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, I'll put the link below, and go Niners.